Welcome to the explainer that is going to completely change the way you approach your exams. I'm your host, the strategist, and today we are flying at absolute maximum altitude. We are cracking open an advanced tactical masterclass on Cambridge Computer Science exam strategy. We're zeroing in on syllabus 9618, but listen up, because these aerial combat tactics for tackling the toughest exam questions apply directly to syllabuses 0417, 0478, 0983, 0984, and 2210 as well. Today's target, the notoriously tricky LAN versus WAN characteristics. This explainer is your official flight manual. Now, let's look at the challenge. Imagine a real Cambridge past paper question right in front of you. The clock is ticking, the pressure is on. I see two types of students in this scenario every single year. First, we have Alex. Alex just completely overloads the page with raw, memorized computer science facts, but provides absolutely zero analytical depth. Then we have Sam. Sam rushes in, flies way too close to the sun, completely misses the specific command word requirements, and crashes and burns. Don't be Alex, don't be Sam. We're going to fix those flawed answers today.
So why are we focusing so heavily on this one specific topic? Well, take a look at the breakdown. Did you know that LAN versus WAN characteristics routinely account for approximately 15% of the total marks in your Paper 2 exam? It is so easy to get completely lost in the weeds of complex coding paradigms and abstract algorithms. But let me tell you, this theoretical network framework is an absolute heavy hitter. When we put Alex and Sam's flawed answers side by side with the examiner's red pen marks, you can literally see where they are hemorrhaging points. Alex lost marks because he just defined a network without applying it to the scenario. Sam lost marks because she gave an evaluation when the questions specifically just asked to state a difference. That lack of strategy is deadly. Think about the sheer magnitude of that number, 15%. That is a massive chunk of your overall grade riding entirely on whether or not you have mastered these specific network principles. It is literally the defining difference between getting a standard mediocre passing grade and securing that top-tier, standout A-star result that you are aiming for. We absolutely cannot afford to just skim this topic or rely on rote memorization. We need to go deep. We need a system. We need to approach this like top-tier strategists analyzing a battlefield. Okay, here is our flight plan for today's session. We are going to structure your revision by deconstructing the core principles, revealing the highly guarded method mark strategy, diving deep into advanced comparative analysis, and finally exposing the critical examiner warnings so you don't fall into the same traps that catch thousands of other candidates. Moving right into Section 1, Core Principles, Establishing the Basics. Let's lay the groundwork. Before you can even think about writing a successful, high-scoring extended response, you absolutely must establish the fundamental definitions clearly. The syllabus strongly emphasizes that top-performing students exhibit connected conceptual understanding, so let's lock it in. A local area network, or LAN, operates within a limited geographical area. Think a single office building, a school campus, or your own home. Conversely, a wide area network, a WAN, spans a massive geographical distance, connecting smaller networks across cities, countries, or even globally, like the internet itself. It sounds incredibly basic, I know, but establishing this baseline immediately is a non-negotiable step. Now, this brings us to the strategy reveal. To actually use these definitions effectively, you have to decode the command words using the PEAL framework. That stands for point, evidence, explanation, and link. That is how top students structure their answers. Now, I'm going to give you a quick challenge. As we go through the next few concepts, try to spot which of my examples actually follows the PEAL framework in your head. But hey, before we continue, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now. Seriously, why am I stressing these basic definitions so much? Listen to this direct, verbatim quote pulled straight from the Cambridge Principal Examiner Report. Candidates consistently confuse key terminology. Always define terms before using them in extended responses. Boom, right there. The examiners are explicitly warning us. Failing to define these terms early on in your PEAL framework costs candidates incredibly valuable marks every single exam session. When Alex just jumped into talking about IP addresses without establishing whether it was a LAN or WAN context, the examiner immediately stopped awarding top band marks. Let's shift gears to Section 2, the method mark strategy, earning points for process. This is where the real magic happens. All right, it is time for the transformation. We are pivoting away from just the raw theory of what you need to know to exactly how you must structure your answer on the exam page. Enter the method mark strategy. This is the insider secret.
Marks are actively awarded for your systematic analytical process, not just for stumbling blindly into the correct final answer. If you just drop a technical conclusion on the page without showing the examiner your logic, you are literally leaving points on the table. Think of those red pen marks on Alex and Sam's papers. We are about to transform them into green check marks. We need to implement what I call the computer science success blueprint. The blueprint dictates that every single claim you make about a network's speed, security, or topology must be backed by a visible, logical process.
To absolutely guarantee that you capture every single one of these method marks, you must follow a strict, unyielding procedural algorithm. Think of it as your pre-flight checklist. Step 1, deconstruct the question and extract the raw data. Find the command word, find the context. Step 2, solve the problem systematically using crystal clear notation. This is your point and evidence from the Peel framework. Step 3, evaluate your final recommendations and check them for reasonableness. This is your explanation and link. Imagine giving yourself just 60 seconds right now to rewrite a flawed answer using this exact 3-step process. Deconstruct, solve, evaluate. That is the rhythm of a top-tier student.
Let's look at how this plays out with complex data. When dealing with things like binary representations of subnet masks or testing edge cases in a network setup, your formatting is everything. For binary, you must show step-by-step calculations. Do not just leap to the final decimal number. For edge cases, explicitly verify the specific boundary conditions. Your structured, formatted working is your absolute proof of process to the examiner. Stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2 to 3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to @acetheexams_IGCSE and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions.
All right, we are locked in. Let's move to Section 3, Comparative Analysis Structuring the Argument. It's time for our interactive workshop.
Get ready, because I want you actively participating here. When you face specific network comparison questions, examiners are testing your analytical depth, not your superficial breadth. A true, high-scoring comparative analysis requires identifying both the similarities and the differences. Here is your first challenge. Imagine a complex data table showing latency speeds across different network topologies. Scan that data mentally. What's the core trend? You must provide concrete evidence for any similarities you claim. Now for challenge 2. Find the flaw. If a student writes, "A LAN is fast, a WAN is big," that's a heavily flawed sentence. Why? Because it completely lacks comparative connectives. To contrast effectively, you must use words like whereas, however, or conversely. A LAN offers high data transfer rates over short distances, whereas a WAN typically experiences higher latency due to the geographical spread. That is how you secure the bag. Evaluative thinking is the ultimate high-altitude maneuver. It requires considering multiple solutions, deeply analyzing the inevitable trade-offs, openly acknowledging the limitations of your own proposed network design, and aggressively justifying all your decisions with concrete evidence. Time for challenge 3, speed writing. If you had just 30 seconds right now, could you write one perfect Peel paragraph explaining why a hospital might choose a closed lane over a WAN for patient data? Your brain should instantly jump to the trade-off between accessibility and security, acknowledging the limitation of remote access, but justifying the decision with the evidence of strict data protection laws. That is the level of sharpness we need. We are entering the danger zone. Section 4. Critical examiner warnings, the top 3 mistakes. Listen closely, because we have reached the absolute climax of our masterclass. These are the exclusive traps that the Cambridge examiners actively set, and they watch candidates crash into them year after year. Let's reveal the final system. To avoid these, you must employ 3 rules: command word decoding, Peel framework application, and the time management matrix. According to the actual principal examiner reports, the top 3 fatal mistakes are: number 1, confusing cause and effect when describing network behavior; number 2, completely forgetting to check your boundary conditions and edge cases in a proposed design; and number 3, the most notorious of all, writing generic, rote-memorized answers that are not specific to the given context. Remember Alex? That was his downfall. He gave a textbook answer for a real-world scenario. I want to drill this into your mind. Whenever you finish writing a paragraph in the exam, you need to pause, look at your paper, and ask yourself this specific question. Does my solution account for edge cases, and does it directly address the specific scenario given in the exam? If the prompt is about a global logistics company tracking shipments, and your answer doesn't explicitly mention the challenges of international packet routing or satellite latency, you haven't actually answered the question. You've just written down a computer science fact. Context is everything. It is the fuel that powers your entire grade.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Under the pressure of a ticking clock, with your adrenaline spiking, it's easy to freeze up and forget all this. So here is a highly effective memory hack to act as your cheat sheet. Actively create a custom mnemonic using the first letters of key LAN and WAN terms. Whether you use it to remember the exact definitions, the sequence of the Peel framework, or the specific security protocols of local versus wide networks. By creating a mental shortcut right now, you are building an emergency ripcord. When the pressure is on and your mind goes blank, you just pull that ripcord, your custom mnemonic deploys, and the terminology floods back flawlessly. You'll see your mark potential progress bar shoot straight to 100%.
Let's bring this whole tactical mission in for a landing. To truly master that 15%, your system is simple. Define your terms clearly from the jump. Rigorously apply the deconstruct, solve, and evaluate framework to squeeze out every single method mark. And use Peel to actively dodge those top 3 examiner traps. Students who implement these computer science strategies see an average improvement of 2 full grade boundaries. But, and this is a big but, only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos. Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to @acetheexams_IGCSE and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Before you go tackle your next past paper, I'm throwing down the gauntlet. What mnemonic will you create right now to lock in these LAN and WAN characteristics and guarantee your success on paper 2? Drop a comment below with your target grade for computer science and the biggest challenge you're currently facing. Our team responds to every single comment. Like and share this explainer with your study partner. Ace the Exams. Your Cambridge success starts here. Keep evaluating, stay analytical, and I'll see you on the next flight.